And the Pistons get things rolling tomorrow for real. That is right. The Indiana Pacers in town. Tons of cool events going on down at Little Caesars Arena. The Pistons put on a show, everybody, as we know, down there at LCA for opening day. And to discuss that and all the Piston stuff with us, we welcome in on the phone the Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, Michael Blackstone, is our guest. And Michael, appreciate your time. And we're just about ready to rock for real, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Good to be with you, Neil and Darren. Appreciate you having me on.
Good morning, Mike. Thank you very much. Right out of the rip, I got to ask, because this Pistons team in preseason, at least what you've put together, has looked a lot different than what it ended with the season. How were you and Trajan able to build this roster in such short order?
A lot of behind-the-scenes work as part of it. Our goal was to try and help our young guys with some vet experience to help them grow as we go through the process of getting this back to where it needs to be. So that was a huge push for us in the off season, this past off season.
Michael Blackstone, our guest here from the Detroit Pistons, the Executive Vice President of Basketball Ops. So, Michael, I guess my question would be, what were some of the priorities with the pieces you did have in place? Like you talked about vets that you added, and we'll talk more about them coming up in just a couple of minutes. But what were some of the priorities for this core of the Pistons? You know, with Cade and Jaden Ivey, Jalen Durham, what were you guys looking at improving?
So we know, we have talented guys on the roster, and as we came in here new from New Orleans and just evaluating what was here, we knew it existed, and we were talking through, well, what do we need to get this back on track from what it had been last year? And the thought process was, it's really helpful. We've been through this before with other teams. When you have a roster as young as ours, it's incredibly helpful to have vets with experience that have been doing this for a while, who've played in winning situations, who have been through hard times themselves, to help the young guys not only grow and learn how to actually win at a high level, but also how to weather some of the storm of what happens when you hit tough times during the season. So that was a huge priority of ours. And then number two, I would tell you, was being able to create more space on the floor for our guys to operate. So those two in combination was a big priority of what we were trying to do this offseason.
Michael, as you looked at how the preseason played out, because you mentioned it, and you talked about a priority spacing on the floor, I think certainly we saw that in the preseason. Cade Cunningham seems to like the area to work in, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think Cade, and I think all guys,
right.
The more space you have, the more freedom you have, the more the ball can move, the better the offense can run, the more plays you can make, all of that. So just space in general was really important. And yes, to answer your question, yes, absolutely. You could see not only Cade, but other guys trying to unlock some of their skill sets when they have that kind of space.
Michael, I wanted to ask, because you mentioned obviously the youth of this team and sort of, the young and stuff like this, but why was it so important? It's becoming right through the TV when I watch the game that JB Bickerstaff and the experience that he has is such the right guy to coach this group. What was it that you and Trajan, why was JB, in your opinion, the right guy, and why are we seeing what we're seeing right now, especially in the defensive end of the court?
Yeah, so we obviously were put in a situation that we had to do a coaching search here in a limited time, which was that in itself was fine. But as we were going through the process, it was tough. I mean, we had some very qualified candidates that came in and we spent a lot of time with, and it became clear pretty early on when we started having these conversations that JB was the guy. And to answer your question, his temperament, his love of the game, his history with the game, what he did in Cleveland, what this place went through last year, we just got the feeling his partnership that he was going to have with us in the front office, his impact on the players and their psyche and unlocking their skill sets. We just had a very, very strong belief that he was the right guy and is the right guy for this team at this time. And we could not be happier with the partnership and what he's done so far. I mean, we obviously have a lot of work to do still with the franchise, but what we've seen this summer and in preseason and just getting the guys where they need to be is just been nothing short of spectacular.
Michael Blackstone, our guest, the Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations for the Detroit Pistons. The regular season starts tomorrow, 7 p.m., Little Caesars Arena. They'll have the T-shirt giveaway as well. All the fans will receive a Pix Mob light-up bracelet that will activate in tandem with the opening night light show and throughout the game as well. It's going to be a hype atmosphere. Again, you can go to Pistons.com, get your tickets, and be a part of everything going on. But, Michael, you brought up the vets, and something is I had the opportunity to be around the team in the preseason, certainly calling the games on the radio and on the road. Tobias Harris, man, was this about as easy as a call as it gets, bringing him in? Because this guy, and Michael, because I've seen it in practice, the way he eats, the way he moves around the team, the leadership role he takes at practice, was that about as easy as it got for you guys as a management team?
Yeah, it's never easy. I would never say it's easy, but you have a guy who's a true professional, has been doing this at a very high level for a long time in the league, and was interested in doing this again here with us. So was it easy? No. Did it make a ton of sense? Absolutely. And we couldn't be happier with what he brings to the table for this team, along with the other vets that we acquired in different ways. I mean, they're just extremely helpful with their experience level and their professionalism in terms of what we need. So yeah, we're ecstatic about having Tobias and the rest of them here.
So for opening night tomorrow night, I'm excited because I'll be down there and stuff like this. And you guys always, Neil said, throw a party. It's such a great vibe and atmosphere. But this is like all this hard work that yourself and Trajan and the front office has put into this team in such a short period of time. What is it Michael? Like when you sit down and watch this, what do you want the fans to see out of this team that maybe we haven't seen in the last while? Because you definitely have the youth talent and getting them to play together. But what do you want? Because you're the one that's put in all the work to bring us this team and this version.
Yep. Just clarify one thing you said, and I know how you meant it. There's a lot of people that have been putting in a lot of work behind the scenes. Trades did an amazing job at bringing in, the pieces to the front office and the people that are here. No, I completely understand what you're saying. And what I want to see is, I can't say and claim that I watched all the Detroit games last year. Obviously, we had our own team that we were working through last year. But what I can tell you, what we're trying to look for is, we expect our guys to play hard and bring a sense of professionalism and effort every single night. You're not going to win them all. Some of them are going to be really difficult. But we've got to come for the fans. We've got to bring an effort to do the very best we can in every single game. And the second thing that I would tell you is, overall, the course of the season, we have to get better every single day. We're going to make mistakes. The team is young. We're going to have to figure out how to come together. But we've got to see improvement every single day. We don't want to make the same mistakes multiple times. It's fine. We can make mistakes. Just try not to make the same mistake again. But it's really like we have got to show improvement. And it's not just the wins and losses. Of course we want to improve the wins and losses, but we've got to come together. We've got to actually be more effective on defense. We have to be more effective on offense. We just have to show the fans that we're working on improving the team overall. And our strong belief is, if we show them that, if we show the work and demonstrate the work that's being put in, the fans will understand what has to happen next.
Well, Michael, no doubt about it. We saw that in the preseason, and I know Pistons fans certainly looking forward to that continuing into the regular season as well. Appreciate you taking a couple minutes. I know you guys are getting ready to rock and roll tomorrow with the Pacers in town. Well, Michael, thanks for the time, my friend. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Michael.
Of course. Thanks for having me, guys. We're excited. We'll see you tomorrow.
Go Pistons.
There he is, Michael Blackstone, everybody, the Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations. Make sure you get out there to Little Caesars Arena tomorrow. The Pacers in town. Skilla Baby will make a guest appearance on the Pistons Rev Up moment. And Grace West, runner-up of season 23 of The Voice and Michigan native, will sing the national anthem. So make sure you get down there. The T-shirt game, all of it is going to be going on. And D-Mac, again, you look, there's differences, man. I can tell you that on the floor, off the floor, there are differences. That's a fact.
And you know what? There's also, too, when you listen to, and sometimes, obviously, there's an agenda listening to upper management and stuff, but you can feel it, right? Where Mike, and I like it, too, because Michael came from a different organization, right? So he's got new eyes on this and help put it together. And that's, like he said, it takes a whole bunch of people to do it the right way, but it seems like they have the right people in charge, and that's what you want to hear. Isn't that Detroit sports? Exactly what he said, what they want: professionalism, effort every night, and showing improvements. And the one thing that I take away, Neil, and we got to see it on the floor, is that the right guys in place at the top so filters down. We've seen it, we've watched it, the way the lines have done it. We're waiting for the Red Wings and getting there like that, but it's just there's direction, there's a plan. You don't get the professionalism, make it easy like that. We laugh when he's talking about how easy was Tobias here. It didn't make sense, right? No, you get that when you have respect and looked into. So hopefully this is just a start for this team.
I'll double down on what I said earlier. We saw what we saw with Jaden Ivey. JB Bickerstaff, man, he's that dude. I'm telling you guys, man, like, they rock with them. Well, the team rocks with them.
3 words that I really heard on it, like why was he the right guy, right? Temperament for this youth of this team, the ebbs and flows, the history that he has, and the love of the game. That's all you want, a guy in there, because he's going to be a teacher too, but he's also has seen these situations in Cleveland before with a younger team. So you got it. You can really understand why it will work out.
And like JB Bickerstaff, great coach. I'm excited for him for sure. I feel like for this team, it's also a little bit of like glass of water in the middle of the desert kind of thing, coming off of Monty's terrorist reign.
100%.
To now a head coach that cares about you, wants to win, wants to be here, is teaching you, actually coaching you up. Like, it probably is so great for them to experience.
Well, and the bottom line, in and above that, Spenny, his resume says when he shows up on the scene, you get better defensively.
Yep.
That's not what I think. It's what I know. He had the Cavs were the best team in the league in points against. Yeah. The best. In a half season or whatever that number was, he took over the Grizzlies. They went from 13th to 3rd. Like, that's not magic, man. Like, that's there on the paper. So, again, and does D-Mac, just going back to it, and again, this is just my interpretation of dealing with him, does it the right way.
Yeah.
Understands how everything works, understands people. And I was the first to say this. Like, until I dug into it, I was not all the way familiar with his game to go Shaq on everybody right there. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you look at the resume and you look at what he's done to teams when he showed up, man, like, it's undeniable. DNC, ENT, I literally can't wait, man. No, I know. There is a juice, and someone in the chat earlier asked about it. They said, I kind of love the way that there's this youth movement in Detroit sports right now. And Caden Ivey and Jalen Duren are part of that. They are a part of that. And make no mistake, too, Cade saw everything that was going on with the Tigers and everything that was going on. He wants a piece of that, man.
No,
there's no doubt in my mind.
He wants it here. And don't you, Neil, like, to me, it just sort of clicked in, is that yes, but this Pistons team sort of coming into the season has that sort of Tigers free roll, but we got something there.
Correct.
We got to pay attention. So, but the fact you nailed it, right? When you're leader, when you know who your alpha dog
unequivocal.
is. Unequivocal. Yep. Sees what's going around and wants to be a part of it and wants his guys to be a part of it too. I love it.
No, and it's time for Cade to to get his flowers across the league and stuff like that, and he will. He will. He'll continue to evolve. Man.
All-star season loading.
Spenny, there it is, right there. Spenny's standing on business. Spenny's got the over 35.5 locked and loaded.
I do, and I think Cade's around 27, 8.5, and 5 this year.
He can make the All-Star this year.
I think he will.
Here's the one thing, and I wanted to ask you guys before we go to commercial, right? JB Bickerstaff being your coach and the way that this team, does Cade get more calls this year because of it? Is the
Cade's gonna,
is the
from
respect,
what I saw,
the respect, like it's about time that he starts getting the calls that he has.
well, he's added that element more to his game.
Okay.
Like on when he's defended, when a player extends, he's gonna rip right away, and you have to call it. Like all the great scorers have done that. That's how James Harden made a living at the free throw line. He's added elements to the game. They're low key. It's not just like something you're going to notice. And you're right, Spenny. It could be an all-star season loaded.
I really think it is. I mean, you look at the guards in the East, and there are guys that he can slip in front of. These guys we see every year. Last year it was Tyrese Maxey and Tyrese Halliburton. You got new guards that come in the East, and he's going to have a better season than guys like Trey Young. He's going to have a better season than guys like even Donovan Mitchell on the Cavs statistic wise. So I could see him this year around 27, 8.5, and 5, and then a steal, because I really think he's going to be damn good this season. He's going to be very efficient.
Somebody in the chat, and the messages were flying through too fast, said, can you ask him about Asar Thompson? There's nothing new to report there.
Yeah.
He's going through the league and the player union protocols and stuff like that, so he's efforting to make his way back. So, anything that I would have asked would have been redundant anyway to what we already knew. So that was why I appreciate you tapping in, though, for the interview. Big shout out to the Pistons organization as well, Kevin Grigg, for getting that set up, man. The people are excited, and hope to see everybody out. See everybody out at LCA tomorrow night. Let's